This is the Practicing Christian. Now let's take a look at the question of being mindful or distracted. Let's start with a definition of mindful that's strong and solid. It means being conscious of or aware of something. It's a word that's been around for 700 years. It's related to the Old English word mindful, spelled with a Y, which means of good memory. Old English also had myndig, M-Y-N-D-I-G, an adjective meaning mindful, recollecting, thoughtful. Now here's a sentence that uses mindful. We can be more mindful of the energy we use to heat our homes. Something like aware of, conscious of, alive to, alert to, awake to, acquainted with, heedful of, careful of, wary of, hip to, or even wise to. But mindfulness is not about being distracted, not sitting in a special position with our hands held a certain way, focused on being calm, or resetting or emptying our minds. Christians frequently engage in prayers of thankfulness. Meditative people may do gratitude journaling. Mindfulness practitioners want to become self-aware of the thoughts that they're having. Christians approach prayer with a goal of becoming aware of the presence of God in their life. Here's an interesting comparison of perceptions of mindfulness. This is one from the Cambridge Dictionary. The practice of being aware of your body, mind, and feelings in the present moment, thought to create a feeling of calm. All right, now here's another approach. Let go, I'll catch you, says our Lord. Falling into the kingdom works, and bliss comes from experiencing a foretaste of the kingdom now. Dr. Miguel Farias and Catherine Wickholm look at mindfulness with a critical eye in their book, The Buddha Pill. In our modern culture, everyone is looking for some hack or shortcut to well-being, and meditation seems to be the latest pill that everyone prescribes. Yet Farias and Wickholm are believers in the power of meditation. They teach yoga and meditation to prisoners in an attempt to help them find a more peaceful and benign way of life. Another case. In their book, The Upside of Your Dark Side, psychologists Todd Kashdan and Robert Biswas-Diener point out that in spite of all the focus on mindfulness, it's really only one of many mental states that is important for optimal functioning and well-being. Quote, while it's nice to imagine this everlasting Buddha-like attunement in the present moment, close quote, they write, quote, humans also benefit from savoring the past, anticipating and planning for the future, and occasionally just zoning out and getting things done on autopilot. Sometimes it's good for us to just tune out and give the mind a rest. Really what this is, says Kashdan, is the incubation period for creativity. Qualified researchers generally find that interventions such as exercise, prayer, pleasant activities, including watching television, and so forth, work about as well as mindfulness. If that is, your goal is no more than to reduce stress, cope with challenges in life, and better regulate mood. A poor definition of mindfulness is that it centers on the present moment. Not so. A common misconception about mindfulness is that it means to stay in the present moment. Many meditators say, I can't be mindful. I can't stay in the moment. I have such trouble with that. The reality is that no one's mind stays in the present moment. Considering what our mind needs to process and compute in each moment, we would never be able to control our mind to such rigidity. But we have control over the return, and we can repeatedly jump back, return, into that present moment. Now we'll see something connected with that a little later here. Practicing mindfulness techniques can help you to stay calm when things are going badly, without resorting to an occasional tranquilizer or a stiff drink, although in some ways it accomplishes much the same thing. So therapists like to teach this skill to help their highly reactive, chronically upset, or emotionally unstable patients to calm down and not resort to acting out, such as cutting oneself or other self-destructive or self-defeating acts. Now, is this mindfulness or mindlessness? Stress tolerance skills are great, but why not remove the source of stress? And all that paragraph is from David Allen, MD. However, just as exercise does much more for you than just stress reduction, when pursued diligently, so does prayer. Rather than leading us to being distracted, prayer and its cousin, Christian meditation, will lead you to an integrated life, with less of a sense of being pulled in many directions by forces outside yourself, and at all times being rooted in a sublime, a beautiful reality. Now, if you want to go deeper into Christian meditation, one good book to take a look at is Desiring God, written by John Piper. Or for a deep and wide-ranging look at Christian meditation, with groups to join and more, go to wccm.org. That's all lowercase, wccm.org. You can go from your personal devotion life to working on addictions, to travel and retreats, and to workshops, even on meditation for investors in the financial industry. Okay, few practicing Christians directly attempt to be distracted by their prayers. Rather, we seek to be focused on, meaning mindful of, God and His activity in our lives. Neither stressed nor aimlessly wandering in our mind amongst ideas and dreams, but nor are we fixed on a given image or sound, and there is neither a mantra nor a repetitive chant. There can, however, be a continuity in prayer from one day to another, and so on. In other words, our prayer life can be like a continuing conversation that takes repeated breaks and comes back to where it was last engaged. That's rather like returning to the present moment, as we mentioned above, where we were speaking about returning to the state that we were in. Prayer can also be listening prayer, where there's no effort to come with something important, just a relaxed but focused listening to the wisdom of the Spirit. Undifferentiated mindfulness may limit the depth of human experience when compared with a Christian meditation that encourages us to participate in the riches of knowing Christ. The message of the gospel is good news that goes well beyond what much mindfulness can offer. We can rate and evaluate all things in accordance with the measure that they help us live towards God and His kingdom. Strong, healthy, wise, energetic, and joyful lives in service to our Lord. Serve then, be the King's right arm.